I didn't take up Mayo's offer yesterday. I just I didn't feel like having the taste of gefilte fish plaguing me.
It was fine.
Long.
Look, I don't enjoy gefilte fish, but
that was if you were going to try it, that would have been the way to do it. But I unfortunately, having nothing to do with the fine sponsor, they did a great job on it. But do you have a food that you're absolutely repulsed by from going all the way back to childhood? That would be gefilte fish for me.
Yeah, I get it. Look,
you couldn't get me to eat smelts. My mother ate a lot of this shit, man. the herring and cream sauce with onions, disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not a big Jewish delicacy.
Like vomit-inducing. No, I mean, come on.
You at least like matzo balls. I will eat them. I've never liked them.
Matzo balls never did anything for me in reality.
I've never been a big Jewish delicacy guy. I will openly.
How excited can you get over something that has zero flavor? A matzo ball.
That's the thing. My family loves both matzo balls and gefilte fish.
You could shoot your tongue with lidocaine and eat, and it would be like eating a matzo ball. Oh, I mean, come on. There's fucking no flavor. I can't feel nothing. I can't feel my tongue.
You can have numbness, and it's the same
numbness.
thing as not having it.
Be just like drooling the soup, because you can't. Your mouth isn't functioning anymore, and matzo ball would taste the same. I mean, as it does for somebody with just burgeoning taste buds.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
I had a funny feeling that's where you're going to begin, Lubie. So let's play out. Let's let it sink in. To the great Pat Riley. Let us bow our heads in prayer. Pat, we hope you can do something this off-season that may be of some real significance, besides telling us how tough Jimmy Butler is in the postseason, how he makes his vital transformation and becomes playoff Jimmy. Where the fuck is he the rest of the time in the regular season? Maybe if he paid more attention to that, we wouldn't be sitting there as the 8th fucking seed again. Unbelievable. All right, welcome to the show. It was a star-crossed season of sorts for the Miami Heat, was it not?
A shitty season. It's funny because I remember, everyone remembers the end of last season. We're pretty good about being honest here. I remember after that.
That wasn't for Andy, by the way, that chorus.
No,
He's still with us. Good.
Andy's doing strong. Yeah. He actually was getting out of the hospital, thank God.
Oh, is he getting out?
He said yesterday he was going to be getting out.
He found a bondsman? I think you need a bail bondsman to get out of the
He probably does. He was there like a month.
Yeah.
I do remember after that Hawks game last year, literally being here just end the fucking season already, please.
Yes.
I'm fucking sick of this season because it was very similar to this season. A lot of injuries, a lot of, they look good. Oh, now they suck because everyone's injured. And then they went on that ridiculous run. So it was like, okay, cool. This year did not have that. It was Butler that was out instead of Hero. And you saw the difference in the team.
Wow.
Butler plays as opposed to
Tyler Hero with the burden of having to carry a team. Would you say inconsistent is a fair word to attach to that? Inconsistent, or are you counting on him having a lousy game? And he surprises you when he measures up. What do you think? You're not the biggest Tyler Hero fan.
I think Hero has a lot of, I don't know if he has potential anymore. I think he is what he is at this point, but I think he's a good player. I think he's a solid player. I think he was better than the banter of the last trade off season where they were comparing him to guys that aren't even starters in the NBA.
Yeah.
And if you look at his stats, he's borderline all-star, and that's fine. He sucks in the playoffs. I mean, he just, outside of the fight, that it's so funny. The bubble finals, he was fantastic. Or the bubble playoff run, he was fantastic. That's 4 years ago now. Like, ever since then, he's either been hurt or horrible in the playoffs. And that's what this year was. Look, Bam brought his effort last night. I can't be mad at him. But Caleb Martin, who could have been the Eastern Conference Finals MVP last year, was nowhere to be found in these fucking playoffs. And Tyler Hero had one game, and last night they needed him desperately. They weren't going to win, but it was like, okay, let's at least be in it for a little bit, make it sort of fun to watch. He sucked. Like,
what a disaster, yeah.
Useless. And it was like, dude, you're getting outplayed by Derek White. And all year, Boston Celtics fans were trying to tell people, Derek White's better than Hero. I was like, no, he's not. It was this series. Like, he was
far more consistent, you would have to say, and more capable of adapting to the role that he has to play in any given game. Where, I mean, a couple of nights ago when he scored the 38, was being called upon to be that scorer because he was on fire. Couldn't miss. We've seen Hero go through some streaks like that, but few and far between by comparison to any sort of barometer that you would want as a real measuring stick of whether a player was a consistently solid NBA player. Hero, in certain circumstances, it looks like he could be very good, but the shooting percentage, this always bothered me about Hero, Lubie. You know, I've alluded to this many times. And you'd think it would be something that you would let go of, but it always troubled me about the whole Tyler Hero thing, was that he shot below 40% from three-point range in his season at Kentucky.
Yes.
Now, he's on a team there at Kentucky where naturally you have to think that it's not like you can guard one guy.
No, you get great shots.
So you're getting from three-point range, you're getting the so-called, and I almost hate this terminology, quality looks.
I said great shots because I hate quality looks.
Quality looks.
Stupid. What does that mean?
It means you're wide fucking open. That's what it means.
Wide open.
Yeah,
like
there's nobody near you.
Have a guy on you.
No token pressure. Quality looks. Yeah. But he was very inconsistent. I mean, that low percentage bothered me because you're talking about a very easy shot for any outside perimeter shooter.
Yeah.
The 3-point college, high school shot is nothing. I mean, I wish it was there when I was playing ball because, instead of averaging 3 points a game, I might have been able to average 4. But no, I wasn't going to change the scope of my career, but no, I mean, Andy can appreciate this. He's a chucker from the outside. That little 19-footer is nothing. It's nothing.
No, especially if you're wide open.
Yeah. Now you move it back to pro distance, a little bit more prohibitive. You could expect maybe percentages to go down, but while he may shoot higher than 40%, I want to say, what is he an above 40% 3-point shooter, Tyler Hero?
Hero? I'll look it up. I don't think he is. I think that's the problem. Is it's shooting percentages. He's had moments, but in the playoffs, again, remember this isn't the regular season. In the playoffs, he's been a fucking disaster. Like he's nothing. Like he was 1 of 8 last night.
Well, and the truth is, I mean, let's face it, it wouldn't matter that much what Tyler Hero did. I think he bonked his first 10 shots, but so they could have been in a game. I actually turned away from it. It was sort of close about midway through the first quarter, and you thought, maybe there's a half a shot here that he can hang in there, but he's so depleted. Losing Jaquez Jr., this was another guy that was scoring 13 points a game in the postseason, and it was certainly giving them some kind of a spark on the offensive end. At least he was creating things also. He may not have been scoring 20 points a game, but the fact that they had to pay attention to him and he was penetrating, driving into the paint, creating things for other guys, was an asset. And without that, I mean, they really had nothing to offer.
Well, that's
against
the
Celtics last night.
Hero, Martin, and Highsmith, for whatever. Look, the rest of the league may not know. The Heat fans love those 3 guys.
Yeah,
those 3 guys have had moments. At the end of the season, Highsmith was actually playing really well for them. Those 3 guys were useless these last 2 games. Like, look, most of the series, and it was out there to be had. It wasn't like the Celtics were playing 1990s New York Knicks defense. Like, there were lots of shots there. Like, they didn't
even look like they were trying on defense. They were essentially just saying, "Go ahead and shoot it."
Because he couldn't hit the side of a barn the entire series. Like, they had the one game where they looked like Reggie Miller in the mid 90s as a team, but the Warriors in their heyday, like in every other game, they couldn't hit the side of a fucking barn. Like, their shooting was so bad, and the Celtics did just enough. And last night they couldn't fucking miss. So, I mean, I expected them to get killed last night. And then once Hawkins was out, it was just at that level. Like in the second quarter, you're down by 30. It's like, Jesus, guys.
People are always going to, think that, hey, they pulled off that miracle in game number 2. So here you're getting plus 650. I had a friend of mine call me right at the last minute saying, "Hey, can you get a bet down for me? I want to bet Heat money line." So I said, "Look, I don't have any of these sources. I don't subscribe to any of these apps that I could bet on. It would be too dangerous for me, whether it was horses or sports. But I'll book the action. What do you want? Well, whatever you want on the Heat on the money line, I'm willing to book." I would have paid him the plus 650 because it appeared that there was no chance. So that's over. Now what happens, Lubie? This is your favorite thing about covering basketball. And with apologies to the great Jim Sarney, who's already nauseated that we've been spending the first 10 minutes of the show on the Heat game last night. Why doesn't Jim like men's basketball? I mean, he constantly was alluding to the fact that the women outdrew the men in the tournament in terms of viewers. Not sure how significant that was overall. Ticket prices, I mean, you're talking about selling 70,000 tickets versus 15.
Yeah.
So naturally, the ticket prices for the women's game were at much more of a premium than they were when you can go to a stadium and watch a game. That's really bogus too, huh? That they hold these championship games in the Final Four in stadiums, Lubie.
That's ridiculous.
But was that insane? You can't see shit if you're a fan.
You can't see anything, and it changes
Yeah.
shooting. It's usually shitty shooting for like
Yes.
at least a half of the game,
Right.
first game, because the depth is ridiculous.
Basketball is not supposed to be played in atmospheres and environments like that. Why not just play it outside on the ship like they do at the beginning of the season there when they go on that aircraft carrier? But yeah, I mean, remember we were behind the basket in the press row, which was already getting priority over regular patrons at the arena that night, and we were so far away from the basket that you couldn't tell what the hell was going on out there. No idea. You're at the game and you have no idea what's happening. You're having to watch it on your phone like an asshole, and you're thinking, at most sporting events, I always find that comical. It's very common if you're watching like a baseball game, especially, but Marlins games even more so, where people have a seat right behind home plate. They could be calling balls and strikes, but they're on their phone the whole time. And I'm thinking, whatever you paid to go to this game and the hassle that you went through to get to the stadium and driving in traffic there in Miami, do you really, do that just so you can sit on your phone all night? You could do that while you're sitting on the fucking toilet seat at home.
Yep, 100%.
Who needs this? Right? That's fairly common. I mean, you're seeing people in front row seats and they can't get off their phone. It's very, very addicting, this thing. Be careful. I mean, this is a thing that's going to kill you. As my friend said to me, a longtime bookmaker said, worst rat in the world, right here. Unbelievable. Lefty. Now, that was the advice from Lefty. Don't be saying things into your cell phone. But you really don't want to be on them while you're at a sporting event. All right, so that's over. Kevin Durant, does he come to the Miami Heat? Yes or no, Mike Lubie Lubitz? And are you in favor of it? Kevin Durant, if they zero in on Durant.
I mean, they've done it before. Look, to me, it's funny. People say he's washed. I think he's still averaged.
He's far from washed up, Kevin Durant.
I think he's still averaged high 20s. The team was a disaster. And again, Durant's had chances to come to South Florida.
Yes.
And he'd have wanted them. And the Heat were usually in his top 2 or 3, but he didn't push to come to the Heat. We said it going into the season, the Suns have no defense, and you just put 3 scorers together.
They didn't really. I mean, Durant, is he considered a big man? Because I mean, he's big in terms of height, but he plays more like a small forward.
No, he's a wing. He's a wing, but he can play defense.
But they had no real big man.
No, they had no big, and the 3 guys they had don't play like Booker. For all he does on offense, he doesn't do shit on defense. I mean, so that's was their Achilles heel. They couldn't stop anybody.
Every offensive player, though, is offended if you imply for a second that he doesn't play any D.
Well, Booker doesn't. I mean,
yeah.
And look, what's funny about Durant is most of his career, people have questioned his defense. He actually plays decent defense, but Beal doesn't. Beal doesn't do anything defensively.
No, man, and Beal didn't do enough offensively to make you feel like that was some great acquisition.
He hurt most of the year, which is most of his career. So that was a disaster. That was weird that he even. He liked the Phoenix area, I guess. I don't know, maybe it's close to the West Coast, and because he wants to be near LA. He's like a pseudo LeBron kind of a thing. He loves the tech world. I don't know. I just what the Heat need is someone that can score. That's their issue. They actually
it wouldn't hurt him any, right, to have Durant on the roster, depending on what they lost in the process. Is he a free agent now, or they have to trade for him?
No, he's there, but. I don't know. What I found interesting is the Ishbia guy. I guess he's the owner. They were calling him the governor. I don't even know what that means. For the Suns, said we're not going to blow it up, and I was like, why? Like, what are you holding on to? You did twice now have gone all in different ways.
Yeah,
and you did get to the finals at least when you went and got Chris Paul, and you were up on the Bucks, and then you got bludgeoned, and all you've done is go backwards since then. Like, why would you? Booker's actually still young enough that why would you not start over? Like this is
the embarrassing fashion in which they were handled by Minnesota.
I mean,
when you have other teams, like that in the West, with Oklahoma City being a young team that's on the rise, and while you're seeing, the dismantling of the run of the Golden State Warriors, the Lakers don't look like they have the goods. Phoenix looks like they're even behind those 2 teams, even though they finished ahead of them in the standings in terms of having a chance to win a championship with the configuration they have.
Look, what's funny is remember last year in that Portland trade. The Suns actually wanted Hero. Like, that's why people thought that trade was going to go off without a hitch.
Yeah.
The Suns were willing to throw Ayton in which the Blazers wanted Ayton for some reason, which I still don't get. He's always injured, and he's worse than Hero in the playoffs. And the Suns wanted Hero. So to me, it's like, okay, Hero's going to be the centerpiece of a trade. I feel like Caleb Martin's going to be involved. The Heat have no need for him. I think he's going to be a free agent, but you could do a sign and trade with him.
Wow, he was disappointing this year, huh? He went backwards.
He just sucked.
What looked like a gigantic springboard that he was on last year after the postseason. Didn't you think Caleb Martin was going to be a hell of a player? That of the guys they lost, I mean, they lost Strus and Gabe Vincent, two guys that were essential for him last year and showed real well in the postseason. But you thought, wow, well, at least they held on to Caleb Martin. This guy's really going to be something. And turned out, they could have had Steve Martin on the roster, and they would have been, well, maybe not quite as well served, but nonetheless, that didn't turn out all that well having Caleb Martin there. All right, we do have coming up the trivia challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely. I think Lubie's dialing him up right now as Gurggles is going to punch in here. So all of you trivia challenge players, and Lubie will be out later on tonight with the ultimate live trivia competition now. It's amazing how you've taken over the town, you and the professor, in that regard, because there are a lot of places that do trivia. I didn't realize how popular it was. I think Lenny and the crew, do they play somewhere else every night? Incredible. Every night. Gerg's having some technical difficulties.
Last night we were at this thing to kick off 954 Burger Month.
Yeah. How was it, by the way?
It was good. It was the Burger Beast.
Did the Burger Beast lose a lot of weight, or is that just a flattering picture that you took? He looked like he had trimmed down like 50 pounds.
Maybe, I hope he has. He looked like the guy I've seen a bunch of times, but maybe he's lost weight. I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was eating better last night. He said.
Did you have a slimming filter? Did Mayo demand a slimming filter?
He was sitting at an angle, so maybe the
camera?
angle.
Okay.
Angle maybe looked.
No, he looked thinner to me. I
thought,
good.
Wow. I don't know. But he got along well. He was fun as always. We talked lots of burgers.
Yeah.
But Lauder Ale, while we were outside doing the show, they had trivia on the inside, and it was fucking packed.
Oh yeah, it was packed.
Yeah, they had a trivia, and the guy was sitting there with a microphone at a table.
Did you eavesdrop on it? I mean, how did
understand anything he was saying? So I'm like, I guess this is why people asked me to repeat the questions 3 times, because I couldn't understand what the fuck he was saying. But the place was packed, so I'm like, yeah, I guess this is a thing around. People love it, especially in South Florida.
Now, where exactly is this place? I couldn't really quite figure it out.
And it's literally, it is. Mail wasn't wrong. I mean, GPS got me there.
Yeah,
but to explain to someone would be tough. Did you ever, because I used to do this when I was in high school, there used to be a route that you could get off the highway, go through the port, and get to the beach. I don't
know about that, Libby. Anytime I've been at the port, I've either been lost or I was trying to make that 3-hour cruise that used to be so popular, the cruise to nowhere. What was that? Was that the Sea Escape?
Yes, I think so.
That went out of Port Everglades there. But yeah, frequent visitor to that ship. Of course, they were occasionally tied into sponsorship on sports radio, so it was always nice. But yeah, that would be about it. I mean, I'm always lost. If I'm in the port, I'm lost, Libby.
Okay.
So you had to go into the port, or
go through the port. You just, instead of at the end of 595.
I think I know what you're talking about.
You go to the port direction, and then you have to go. There's instead of going, you take it all the way down, and then it's off of one of the streets. There's signs and stuff there.
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Especially with GPS. But yes, it was awkward. I've never been there, but they got a lot of people. The place was packed.
Wow, nice.
Something was packed, so we had a lot of fun, and trivia was going on. These people love trivia. It's pretty interesting how big of a deal it is, especially at these craft beer distilleries.
Well, you have the best one, though, according to even these very critical trivia players, right? They would know. I would imagine the Chronic and his whole crew could judge whether or not a contest was a good one, and they routinely say, I don't know if they're just doing this to be gratuitous to you because we've been friends forever, but they routinely say that you and the professor, and even Gurggles, who is an expert on this sort of thing, having been experienced with the things that we did when we used to pack various Hooters for live trivia competitions based on the Trivia Challenge show. They all acknowledge that you and the professor have what seems to be perceived as the best of these live trivia competitions. So that's going to be tonight, right, Lubie? You're going to be on board with that?
6:30 will be at Landlubbers. Well, again, if anyone's listened to the professor for, was it 12? I mean, he's been on with us since the beginning. He doesn't do anything without creativity and wit. So if he's, and it's him. I have nothing to. I do the talking because he doesn't want to talk, and I get up. He doesn't want to get up, but
you are the ultimate MC. I mean, you're the prototype MC, Lubie. There's no doubt.
But I do my best. But Ken can. So, like, if he's gonna do something, there's gonna be fun and it's gonna be different.
Yes.
Because I've hosted these trivia that these other people do, and it's very uniform, and it's fine. People like them. That is not what we do.
No, I hear you. Extremely innovative.
Fun.
Everybody loves it, man.
And it makes you think, and it's a good time.
All right, and a great place because among sports bars with rating sports bar food, I mean, maybe that should be done one day. I don't know. They're having all of these things, surveys in the Sun Sentinel lately, which they do in other newspapers and publications as well. What's the best of this and the best of that? I guess they're trying to figure out who makes the best donuts.
Now they're doing donuts
in Broward County. They had what? What was the other one that they did? The best. What is it? Burgers.
Chicken. They've done.
Pizza? Did they do pizza?
They did fried chicken. They did bagels.
Oh, bagels, yeah, fried chicken.
They're doing donuts. I'm sure they have or will do burgers. It is Burger Month, so Burger Base is going to release his top 25 list of South Florida. And I'd like to see them do pizza because we have a lot of places that we love their pizzas.
Zillion pizza places, yeah. I mean, everybody's doing it now, including one we're going to be at later on today. Yeah, when we're and we'd love to see some people come out trying wicked cheesesteaks later on 1:00 today. The Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show will be out there. The crew's going to be out there. And really, this is, the news that has the paparazzi a buzz is that there may be a live appearance by one James Q. Sarney.
Oh, really? Oh, Sarney said he's going to come? I haven't seen him in forever.
He says he's coming, man.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, he loves Wicked.
He's got a walker. He's kind of walking like Harvey Weinstein, although shouldn't be associated with Weinstein in any way, shape, or form. But, Weinstein looked like he was not in good shape when he was wheeling himself into court. Of course, he immediately was fine after that.
Yeah, man.
He did that like kind of a mafia guy. But let's hope that happens. All right, we're trying to connect with Dave Gurggles Gergely. If we do,
we
will have the trivia challenge.
He has given me his derby picks.
Okay.
Well, I keep calling him, but it's not going to be. I mean, him on the phone with someone else on the phone. I don't know.
Yeah, not really the way we want to do it. I mean, we'd be better off shining that if we can't get Gurggles.
Yeah, I told him to give him a few more minutes, restart the computer. If he can't do it, he did give me his derby pick. So
okay,
and if we do that,
if we do get it going, you can call us at 954-417-0070. Otherwise, we're going to be yakking for the next half hour here on the program. So we're hoping to get Dave up for the trivia challenge, and you trivia challenge players an opportunity to go out there and win that Landlubber's gift certificate. But we will be back one way or another in a moment. Now that the time. We weren't really the usual lightning rod when we suggested that Kevin Durant was coming to the Heat, Lubie. I was expecting more of you. It's 8:26. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Mr. Pentangeli, were you a member of the Corleone family? Did you serve under Capo regime under Vito Corleone, also known as the Godfather?
I never knew no Godfather.
Mr. Pentangeli, you are contradicting a sworn statement you previously made to me and signed. I ask you again, sir, here and now under oath, were you at any time a member of a crime organization headed by Michael Corleone?
I don't know nothing about that. Oh, I was in the olive oil business with his father, but that was a long time ago, that's all.
We have a sworn affidavit. We have it. Your sworn affidavit that you murdered on the orders of Michael Corleone. Do you deny this confession?
Look, the FBI guys, they promised me a deal. So I made up a lot of stuff about Michael Corleone, because that's what they wanted. But it was all lies. Everything. And I kept saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure.
It's now time for the Defo Show.
Back to the show. All right, Gurggles looks like he's a.
He's trying, but I
Smash,
told him
yeah.
not to worry about it. But he did. I do love how great minds think alike with his derby play. I don't know if there was discussions between the two greats, but
They do like the same horse, huh? Just a touch.
Love that they both came up with the same horse again. That just makes me want to put money on that horse more because I trust Polyman. We love Gurg. Gurgs is always good with his.
I'm definitely using Just a Touch after these dual recommendations, especially the Polyman. I mean, the Polyman's top choice last year was off the board. I forget which horse it was, but he was nowhere to be seen search-wise. But he did give out Mage as one of the horses to watch.
Yep.
So, using Mage, I ended up, I think, cashing a trifecta ticket with my buddy there, Piscataway Ray. But it wasn't for any substantial amount of money, even though you had a $32 winner. I think, what was it, followed by a couple of chalk horses?
I think so.
It's possible. So the 5-horse box is where I'm going. So I'm going to include Just a Touch in there for sure. And Polyman also, along with others that I've seen handicap the race, like Domestic Product, who I believe came out of the Tampa Bay Derby. I don't think the horse won the Tampa Bay Derby. So unusual that you would think, geez, here's a horse couldn't win the Tampa Bay Derby, and you're going to pick him to win the Kentucky Derby or win it all. But we also know this, Lubie. This cliche applies. So all of these horses are you ready for this one, Lubie?
Mm-hmm.
And who uses this the most? Barry Tompkins, man. Our good friend Barry Tompkins, the West Coast announcer, did a lot of boxing for Showtime. But and I got to be friendly with Barry doing some fights with him. But he constantly referenced anybody in the prelims as a work in progress. He loved that saying. Well, he's a work in progress. And this is one of the problems that you have when you're announcing is that somebody suggests something to you that you just think is god-awful in terms of being a cliche. And then you end up using it yourself. Well, he's throwing caution to the wind here. What exactly does that mean? I guess you just, you throw caution, it just blows away. Not sure. But, I think that I'm going to use those 2 Polyman horses that he liked. Do you have the balls, though? This is always the question that you have to ask yourself in these big races, and especially the Derby. Do you have the balls to throw out, summarily dismiss, not one, but the 2 favorites in the race?
Well, and look, it's what you've been talking about is you'll probably have to do a trifecta or something, a box of some kind, throwing them in.
5-horse box costs you $60. If you're doing it with a partner and it's $30 a piece, it gives you a realistic shot of hitting the try. We've done it. We did it last year. We did it with the Country House one. Hit a couple of others that way. It's a workable formula. It may be the one race I'm ahead in lifetime will be the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, you do well with the Derbies.
Yeah.
Gurggles is thinking the same like you. He likes Just a Touch, but and I wrote it here, he likes a 4-horse box.
Yes.
With Fierceness, Sierra Leone both in it to cover your ass.
It makes some sense if you're boxing 4 or 5 horses.
Yeah, Catalytic, which no one's referenced yet, so that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
And then still going with Just a Touch. That's how much he likes.
Can Gurggles make you a catalytic converter?
Good job. Nice.
That's something Mayo would throw in there.
I was going to say that's 100% Mayo.
It's a wild, just a complete spin on the wheel sometimes. Who's going to be in the money in the Derby? I mean, you're hoping some bomb like Mind That Bird wins the race and you have him. Do you have the balls? I mean, if you're going to make the 5-horse box for $60, which is $1 trifecta box, you're using 5 numbers. If two of them are the 8 and the 15, are you going to use the other two spots, thinking one of these two will probably be in the trifecta?
Mhm.
Strong likelihood that either Sierra Leone coming from the back of the pack, from the clouds, here comes Seabiscuit, or Fierceness possibly leading the race and going wire to wire like he was Reva Ridge. I mean, is it possible that both of them are out of the money, out of the top three positions? So you're wondering, do you have the balls to make that move, Lubie? Is always the question.
Leave them both out. I don't know. I feel like you
Leave
guys
them
are
both out. Now
both
you're going to
these
have
horses a lot, like,
you're going to have nothing but bombs and then the trifecta. Bombs away, bombsy.
I mean, then I would make a couple of them because I feel like Fierceness kicked ass so much in that rate. What was it? The Florida Derby? Like it.
Oh,
was
a mind-blowingly impressive performance.
Like, and I know the Kentucky Derby stands on its own. What is it? The longest? Is that what it is? Is that
well, they're going further. It didn't look like Fierceness was struggling to go the distance there. I mean, he went a mile and an eighth, so they're going another eighth of a mile altogether. Which can be something that's difficult to navigate, especially on the front end when you're being chased down by 19 competitors, and there's a good chance that some other horse that has very little to no shot of winning. This usually happens in the Derby, goes out and like a speed rabbit in a mile race, that's going to set the pace for everybody to follow, but have no chance to actually win the race. You will see horses go out and contest for what would turn out to be a hot pace. Now whether that interferes or impedes Fierceness is another story. But I mean, if you only saw the Florida Derby, and I guess Fierceness in his 3 winning races has been overwhelmingly impressive, but has also been a dud in 2 of his 5 races. So, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to imagine that he's not going to be somewhat a part of the picture there, but can you leave him out altogether? I mean, that takes a certain amount of balls there because that. Is there anything worse than the favorite finishes third, 2 bombs that you loved, and you don't have it because you had to be an asshole and just eliminate the chalk? Or
I know you guys hate chalk, but like you've said it, and it's something that I remember Hank used to give you shit for doing chalk, and you were like, Hank, it won.
Well, I mean, you have to know how to make use of chalk sometimes. If it can't be defeated, if it can't be completely forgotten, which is what you're hoping for. I mean, you're still in there with a shot to hit the trifecta without either of those horses being in the money. But is it possible? I mean, one of them you would have to think is somewhere either first, second, or third. No,
it feels like yes. It feels like one of these. To me,
or is that a dumb approach right away? You're already self-sabotaging yourself.
I mean,
by thinking that the chalk has to be a part of it.
Look, the chalk doesn't have to win.
No, you're hoping they don't. Yes,
but chalk usually, especially when it's like a monster like this, finds their way around. I don't know. I don't know.
People think it's clear cut that these 2 horses are vastly superior to the rest of the field.
And that's the thing. If you don't want to put both of them, fine. I definitely, the way we've heard about Fierceness, and see, the Sierra Leone thing does scare me. If Sierra Leone likes to sit in the back and jump,
comes from the clouds.
A lot of horses to try and make it.
Yes, there's traffic problems worse than the Palmetto there. It's unbelievable.
So that's the horse I could see leaving out, because if you're really look, as we've known, the handicapping thing doesn't mean a lot, but you guys handicap for a reason, and the people that handicap well, like Paulie Man, win more than others. So if you're doing the handicapping thing, I feel like Sierra Leone's the one I could see leaving out. Fierceness, I get it. It's not been 100%, but when Fierceness hits its stride, it's fucking.
Well, when he's been on, he's been unbelievable. And in fact, if you looked at him getting on the track that day for the Florida Derby, you had to just say, my God, if you have anybody else, tear up your tickets. No matter how optimistic you were about the other horse's chances and how pessimistic you were that backing a favorite was a good idea, when you saw the horse come on the track, you just said, my fucking God.
It's just being around you guys so much. All you got, even when you win, you're always like, if. It's like, you guys live in if so much.
Oh, no doubt. That's all of gambling, right? IF, right at the top of the I train. A big I, a big fucking F.
So to me, going in, try and get rid of one of the ifs. Put some money on the fucking chalk in these box scenarios. You're not being a chalk eating pig. You throw balloons on the top, but don't fuck yourself before you begin.
Can you win in life when you're trying to protect your ass? That's really the question that you're asking yourself. See, the Derby is not really about a horse race. It's about life in general. It's about looking in the mirror and asking yourself, what kind of balls do you really have?
The Derby's not.
It's self-assessment time, people. It's coming up on Saturday. It's about 6:30. See what kind of person you really are. Do you have the balls to leave out the chalk? I know somebody who is. That would be one Jersey. Kyle Martinez gave me his pick.
Oh, what is Jersey like?
He likes a couple of these horses. He said I forget exactly that he was going to actually box 8 horses somehow, and in trifectas. Which what is that going to cost you? That's 8 times 7 times 6, Louis. That's pretty substantial. That's 56 times. That's $300. What are you kidding me?
That's a lot.
Is he really going to do that? He's going to box 8 horses and leave out both Sierra Leone and Fierce.
Really?
Yes. Well,
God, see, he's just trying. He's just poking at the bear of life. I don't know.
He said that while he was hanging with one fingernail off the Dania Pier,
exactly.
about to drop into a vicious riptide.
He's putting that much money into it and not having either of them.
Not either one of them, man. Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
And he's one of those guys that after he just like sucked up $300, threw it right away there, and would have hit for 3,000 had he used one of the favorites in the box that just says, "I don't give a fuck.
He probably
I hate chalk."
He's Jersey, and I get it, but like, don't you want to?
I'm sure he had the heat on the money line again, expecting another miracle. No, I think the professor might have had a small taste on the Heat money line
Last night? No, I don't think Ken had.
I think he did, yeah, because he was upset with me when midway through the first quarter, I texted him that it was over.
Really? Oh no, the way he was texting me, he was resigned to them losing big. So I guess just on an off chance, because it's like, why not? Because the odds must have been fucking stupid.
All right. Should we be in panic mode though? I mean, all year long we've been beating our chest about how bad the Marlins are, and they've won 2 in a row now against the Rockies. The Rockies came in with 7 wins on the season. The Marlins had 6. I mean, equally feeble.
I think
Although nobody cares. Here certainly nobody cares about the Rockies. Did they not come in? They either came in the same year or the year after the Marlins.
Same year. The Marlins.
Same year. Yeah.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks I think came in with the Rays, right, and the Rockies came in with the Marlins.
The Rockies, and the Marlins. Okay, so I mean they're both in the same spot.
Yeah.
It seems like. I mean, the Rockies
won more. They've never won. The Rockies have flirted with success here and there, but they've never won. At least the Marlins have those 2 titles that they love to throw in your fucking face in the middle of.
Well, they've blown that game, which the Marlins were like 1-729 in that spot, trailing by 5 runs going into the 9th inning. And it still bothers me. I'm looking at that going, wow, if the team's played 5,000 games in its history, how are they trailing by 5 or more going to the 9th in almost 800 of them or whatever?
I mean, it tells you.
Right?
About this franchise.
What is 800? It's 40%? No, it's less than that.
You said like
it's less than 20%. Yeah, it's about 15% of their games.
It's still a decent number to be down that late in the game a
Imagine
lot.
that, yeah. Always. Yeah, I mean, like you're always losing by 5. No wonder nobody's around. I don't notice any attendance figures being released or discussed.
No.
Do you? I mean, it has to be a complete disaster by now. I mean, you're not even out of April and you're already fucked. But they have won 2 games in a row. So is there reason to panic if you have the under in this situation? 78 and a hook. We have it at 79.
I honestly agree with you that you should be able to cash out in like end of May.
Shouldn't they be offering you some kind of offer in compromise? Like they do when you're losing the bet, when you're way ahead, should they be willing to buy you out now? I would think we could get, at least 40% on the dollar if we cashed out now with the Marlins under 79 wins.
They're going to be under, so I would write it out the whole year. But yes, I think you'll know by end of it. You were talking about it, just to get to 500, they would have to have some ludicrous record that there's no way they're going. Not 500. I'm sorry. What was it to get to the over?
Well, yeah. I mean, to get to the over, they have to be like 10 or 12 games over 500 the rest of the way.
Not ever going to be that. So
it's not happening.
You're good. This is one of those bets that, and I get it. We hate when we do that.
You can't lose, Lubie.
Yes, gamblers. You don't ever want to hear that out loud.
You cannot lose.
They're fine. They're not doing that at any point.
I can't imagine. I mean, if you look at their pitching staff, what the hell were they thinking going into the season?
They wanted
this Peter Bendix may as well be William Bendix. I mean, he really does look like a kid. Does he not look like Jonah Hill in Billy Ball? He looks exactly like Jonah fucking Hill. Jonah Hill's going to play him as he did. I mean, he's going to be in every baseball movie. He's going to be in the Monty Stratton story, fucking Jonah Hill. He'll be walking around with a peg leg trying to strike out guys in an all-star game. Yeah, I mean, unimpressive so far, what they've been able to manage. And you're thinking, who came into the season with a plan to have A.J. Puck in their starting rotation? And they're counting on Sixto, who gets shelled. I mean, this is worse than when I said that Uribe. What was it?
Urania.
Urania.
Urania was your guy.
Not Uribe. Urania. When I thought Urania was going to win the Cy Young, that was sad.
That his first pitch went right out.
First pitch, a home run. Yeah, he didn't even last one pitch. He was already a
Jesus.
So this 2-game winning streak might have eased the contention that Skip Schumacher was going to get fired this year. That's something that even Jim Sarney is putting out there.
I mean, he's going to finish. What are you firing him for?
How could you fire the manager? Well, I did it with Joe Girardi, but that was before the season started the next year.
Yeah,
I'm saying the reigning manager of the year.
It's been reported they're not extending him. He doesn't want an extension.
Yeah.
So like, why would
he wants out already? Schumacher?
Yeah. Before the year, they literally came to an agreement that this would be his last. He doesn't want to deal with this.
The two people that were. Yeah, go ahead, Lubie.
No, I'm saying they were a playoff team last year. He doesn't want to go through a rebuild.
Yeah.
They're clearly just junking it. Like, he doesn't want that.
No. The two people that were in so-called management, the manager and the general manager that had tremendous success last year, those were the first two moves.
Yep.
But by the current management to get rid of Kim Ng altogether, just ace her out in a power play, a leverage move, and say, well, you're not going to have much to do with anything, Kim. You want to stay here? And then Schumacher, who was brilliant last year. The guy was great. I mean, he really deserved the manager of the year. I don't think there was any question that he was the guy. Won all those run games, and then they take his roster and pretty much decimate it and hand him a pitching rotation that you wouldn't want to have on the AA level, much less in the bigs. And they get off to this horrendous start. So, yeah, good moves there. This Peter Bendix has really done something. Are we condemning this guy in 3 years from now? They're going to be a dynasty? What do you think, Lubie?
That's fine, but I'm going to condemn him now. Like, what other organization has a GM make moves that work for the first time? Like, when was the last time the Marlins made trades that made them better? They usually lose every trade.
Yes.
They made the trades and they signed people, and it actually helped them propel them to a playoff.
Incredible.
Run. Or not a run, but a playoff appearance.
And they weren't easy to see. I mean, it wasn't easy to see that Berger was going to turn into the asset that he was. I mean, the guy was hitting 220 and he struck out like every other at bat. And then he became very solid at the plate for the Marlins last year. And Josh Bell wasn't doing anything so great.
Nope.
Before he got here. He might have had like 13 homers. He hit that many like in his first month with the Marlins.
They were perfect moves. She picked up a couple bullpen people, and the bullpen became real strong.
Yeah.
Did her job. I don't know about the drafting. But again, if that's the one thing I would have taken into account. She was only there 2 years. How much drafting should she have done?
Who picked J.J. Leday, man? I mean,
Mike Hill, who we liked. We liked
exactly.
Mike Hill, but he was horrendous at drafting.
Horrendous. Exactly.
And Derek Jeter and his guy, Gary, whatever the fuck, from the Yankees. Who
Denbo.
was so good with the Yankees,
Gary Denbo.
Sucked with the Marlins at drafting. It wasn't Ng. So, like, all I would have done was help her, try and ask her what she needs to succeed. Instead, he went full Marlins. Like Bruce Sherman is the incarnate of Jeffrey Lurie. I think he knows fucking everything. Oh, let's get a raised person. Okay. But you got a raised person that didn't do any of the drafting.
Yeah, well, why not just get the janitor or the maintenance guy?
Boy.
Supposedly this guy did nothing with the Rays.
He was not involved at all.
Yeah.
Like, when we had
he looks completely gone. I mean, like you're talking to him, he looks like Pauly Shore auditioning for a Shakespearean play that was being produced on Broadway. You're like, you got no shot, kid. I mean, you're not, you may be an actor, but this isn't necessarily the role for you. All right, we're going to come back with more here on the Defo Show. We'll take you up until 9 o'clock today. No trivia challenge. We apologize for that. We'll have a Degenerate Friday working tomorrow. The Mayo Lunchbox is on the road today at Wicked Cheesesteaks. Looking forward to that. I love that guy, Brian, so much. I mean, he is great, and I'm glad to see him getting two guys that we've been touting on the Mike Mayo Lunchbox show that Mayo was a big fan of also. Mm-hmm. Tommy T doing real well. Tom Tomazzini. He's got that Phil's Place that is up there in Boca off Yamato Road. It's like Yamato and Federal, somewhere around there. Yeah. I have to get up there because actually they're featuring a few guys that I know that are playing music there.
Nice.
Also, I think they had Rockin' Jake there last night, and he's a giant New Orleans guy, so that would fit right in. And I believe they have music every Thursday night also, so that could be a lot of fun. Nice. But he keeps teasing me, tantalizing me, Tommy T, with that picture of the lasagna, the special crepe lasagna that he makes.
I love it.
It's not even in the realm of New Orleans food, and it happens to be one of the most amazing items that you'll find on any menu anywhere in South Florida. So happy for him. And Brian getting mad love
I love
with
Brian.
wicked cheesesteaks. And what is the most common illusion that you see? Not only is the food great, but they always say, and the owner is a great guy.
Yes. Well, Brian's great.
So looking forward to being out there
Super
later
stoked.
on today. All right, we'll come back with more here on the Defo Show. Mike Lubie, Lubitz, Jeff DeForest. Lubie, I can't believe that you're not leading the campaign, the charge to get Kevin Durant here. with the
Look,
Miami
I
Heat.
think they're going to go
Kevin, KD,
I think
KD.
Durant. I don't. What the Suns guy said threw me off. It's like, okay, then are they trying to keep this together? Like, I don't understand.
That guy's crazy, though, that owner of the Suns.
Oh,
He's
he
nuts.
has alone. Yeah, he's the one
Yeah.
that was like fighting with players.
He fired Monty Williams after he was coach of the year.
Like, he's
Sent him to Detroit, where he proved that he can't coach a lick.
I think Durant
It's
will be
great.
perfect for the Heat. I don't know if the Suns are getting rid of him. Like, I'm actually confused about that one, to be honest. I do
Yeah.
think the Heat will make moves. I think they're going to shake up the roster because they have to. I mean, they got lucky last year with the run they had. Butler needs help if you're keeping Butler, and Heroes are not it. I mean, it's pretty simple at this point.
Yeah. They definitely need to add something of significance, you would have to say. And then, did they build around Jimmy Butler, though?
I
But
don't think-
Butler with Kevin Durant, if here we go again with the if. I mean, if Butler's healthy and he's playing with Kevin Durant,
that's
that
perfect.
has to really open things up for Jimmy Butler, far more than trying to lean on Bam Adebayo to be that offensive
Well, allows
component.
Bam to be
He's
the
just
third
not.
dude. That's the problem with a Hero is Bam would be your second guy. Bam showed last night. Look, Bam can take over if he needs to. He just doesn't like to.
He's somewhat reluctant to be that guy.
That's why he's a perfect third guy. Like
Yes.
as much as we gave Bosch shit, Bosch stepped up when we needed him to. He also was figured out a way to get to the background, and that's Bam. So he'd be a perfect third guy. So Durant can now be your one. Butler at this point of his career is more of a number two, and
Yes.
Bam your three. That's why Durant would be a perfect move. I just don't know if he's available. I like the Ishbia guy threw me off.
Supposedly, yeah, this is a target. I mean, that's
I hope they go and
being
go for
discussed
it.
as if it was a realistic possibility, Lubie.
I would love it.
That doesn't mean in the NBA that usually means there's no way that it happens. Yeah. I mean, whatever seems the most obvious. I'm not sure that the Heat are going to be making that move. But what is Durant's status that he's a free agent? I mean, if he's a free
I
agent,
don't
then
think
it's
he's a free
relatively.
agent. Is he
I
a
don't
free
either. I want to say no to that for some reason.
No, it would be a trade. But again, the Heat have enough in a trade. And again, he's old enough now and he still has a huge deal. This isn't years past where everyone in the league's going to be running. Look, the really good teams are all young and have lots of talent, lots of picks. So it's not like, I don't know who would want him. That's why it works to me for both sides because the Heat are still trying to get one more title for Riley and a title for Butler. Like,
You better hurry up. I mean,
if you're the Thunder or the T-Wolves, would you want a guy like that souring things? I wouldn't want that. If you're the Celtics, you don't have room for a guy like Durant. You've done that with Porzingis and Holiday. So that's why it works this time for the Heat because there's not a lot of suitors because of who he is and where he is in his career. He doesn't really fit everywhere anymore.
Yeah, he's one guy you could plant in there that you could actually establish the belief that the Heat were far better off as a result. And nothing else has that level of immediacy, I don't think.
Even if Mitchell. Mitchell's the other guy, but Mitchell's not the scorer that Durant is. Like Durant, you can say whatever you want.
Durant's a problem for any defense. I mean, there's no doubt about it, even still.
He's okay without having the ball in his hands, just like Butler is, just like Bam is. So if you can keep a Rozier, you can have him be a ball or whatever, go and get another point guard. Those guys are okay without the ball, or Durant's okay with the ball. So, which is what Butler is like. They would work really well together. And all the moves he's dealt with, he may be willing to like deal with a real culture and give in to that, which in the years past maybe he wasn't.
Let's just take this right out the door. All right, so the Panthers now awaiting the winner of the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs series.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, I wasn't so confident. I thought they would beat the Lightning, but I wasn't overwhelmingly confident in that. For some reason, I'm very confident, it probably shouldn't be, that they will beat either the Bruins or Toronto in the next round of the playoffs.
Look, our guy Brian, who's Mr. Boston.
Yes.
And I called him out for being, he said, first of all, the ball, I find this is pretty presumptuous. They haven't finished the Toronto series. Look, they should, but they should have won the other day, right? And they didn't.
And Matthews was out. I mean, the leading scorer for Toronto by far, 59 goals during the regular season.
And they still won. So to me, as a fan, I wouldn't start talking shit about the next series. But he predicted Boston in 7, which is fine. Look, if you're saying a team wins in 7, you're not saying the other team sucks. No. But I'm not predicting what the Panthers are going to do because to me, what's left after this round in the playoffs, both West and East is ridiculous. Like the Rangers, the Hurricanes, and look, they haven't, they did finish their series. The Rangers, the Hurricanes, the Panthers, and if the Boston Bruins get through, are all teams, again, like we talked about yesterday, that were number one seeds at some point this season.
They could all win it. You could see any of them winning the Eastern Conference, no doubt. Carolina and the New York Rangers, very interesting series. Rangers best team record-wise. Carolina, the team that people think is going to win the Stanley Cup, which is kind of strange. I wouldn't have thought they were going to be the favorites. Leafs were tough, but without Austin Matthews, I mean, they're badly compromised. And yet the Bruins succumbed to them in overtime in the last game. Those games have been pretty tightly contested. Bruins, Maple Leafs, fairly even all the way through. The other game tonight, Predators, Canucks. Your Canucks for the chance to ramp up the series, but they have to go to Nashville, which is not I mean, that is one of the great atmospheres. Las Vegas and Nashville, two hockey arenas.
Yep.
I would like to see a game in. Now, last night in Dallas, I mean, they were going crazy also, so that would have been an interesting crowd. And it's cool to see sometimes that a city actually backs a team. You wouldn't necessarily think of Dallas as being a great hockey city. They've been fortunate to have really good teams for the most part, and they've had some excellent coaches there. That guy Hitchcock, he had a whole system going that was absolutely fantastic. You could actually, rare that you could see the workings and design of an offensive system when you're watching a hockey game, because it looks so abstract. But you could really see what the Dallas Stars were doing when Hitchcock was the coach there. He was dynamite at playing some kind of disciplined and effective offense. But Nashville, a weird place, right? I mean, all those country singers there. The atmosphere was phenomenal. When they had PK Subban bopping people into the boards there, that was an intense atmosphere. So, we'll see if that's enough to get the Predators home and force a Game 7 against Lubie's choice to win it all and hoist Lord Stanley's Cup at the end of the season. The Vancouver Canucks. You were all over the Canucks from an early
point. Reno liked them, and I respect Reno's opinion. And they were like the one seed for out west for a lot of the year.
Yeah.
Look, I actually agree with you. I'm not picking the Panthers because I think the East is a fucking bloodbath. But I'm
fairly even, yes.
I'm more confident about them this year than I have been in years past. I think they are the best roster and best team in the NHL.
And they handle their business really, really well against the Lightning.
They don't play with their fucking food like years past. They don't mess around. They play really good defense. Bobrovsky still lets the stupid goal, but he is playing out of his fucking mind for the most of the game and most of the series.
Circus stops, a couple of them already,
which we haven't seen from him. And those are the things and they went to a cup. They have that chip. They had success in big moments last year. They have all the things they hadn't had in years past. They've been in the playoffs.
And they look to be in far better position this year to do something than they were last year.
You have Barkov, who's contributing, who's not just the star, but he's putting in rebounds. You have
Ekblad isn't off somewhere.
Once, fucking thank God.
Yeah. Kachuk's been dynamite. For Hagee's been great.
They're not just counting on Kachuk. Like
Reinhardt,
who's been great. It's a team.
Role players really come to life. I mean, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
So, that's my thing. Is I think they are the best team, but I'm not. It's just it's tough. Like hockey's fucking. It's tough. But I'm not nervous. Where Mayo talked shit about them versus the Lightning the last couple of years or 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
But Mayo has an agenda. And you've learned this about Mayo, that he carries many agendas and he's very reluctant to let go of them, no matter what the circumstances. They could offer him the presidential suite there at the arena for all home games the rest of the playoffs, and he'd still be mad that what was the guy's Sifu? Sifu guy trashed him and said that he was an asshole because he wrote the truth in one of his columns about the bizarre financial Fugazi system that somehow granted the Panthers a chance to put in a $5 million scoreboard that is actually worse than any in the league. You can't tell what the fuck is going on that scoreboard. Are those shots on goal? I mean, giant scoreboard. You can't even see the numbers. It's amazing. Who's penalty? Who's got the power play? 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Panthers have a power play. You got no idea what's going on that scoreboard. $5 million of public funding that was supposed to feed the homeless. Okay. So Mayo exposes that, and the guy gets pissed. What do you expect?
Classic.
He has a genuine beef. I mean, with this guy, maybe a little bit pompous about the whole thing, but to hate the whole franchise when you were a sports writer?
Oh, it's Mayo. You're not wrong. He actually gets these grudges and holds on to them. But what I will say is they don't feel like that team. I didn't even. We're the ones that told him you probably should have gone with your gut of hatred because you would made a shitload of money. Like after that first 5 minutes of that not the year that they made it tough, the year that they got swept when they were the 1 seed. We both were like, damn it, Mayo may be right. Like he picked the wrong series to hate on the Panthers. Like, it doesn't feel like that. They feel different. And I actually am not going into these series nervous. I'm going excited.
No, very convincing. Yeah. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen, or, you have to see it unfold for sure.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
But, yeah, I mean, I would think that they would hold the edge and be favored in any series, except maybe mistakenly that they would probably be the underdog to the Rangers if the Rangers end up beating Carolina and the Panthers move on. But that would only be, I would think, because of the home ice advantage.
Yeah. They're the one.
As far as playing the Rangers, I mean, do you really think that they take a huge backseat to anything that the Rangers do? I would think not.
They're just tough. The Rangers finished the season tough and gritty.
They were good all year. Yeah.
This Panthers team can do that too. They just didn't do it at the end, but most of the year they did that too. That's what's, again, this team is unlike any other. They in the past have either been the gritty team when we saw that in 196, or they were the finesse team, and we saw that with not only Bure, but we saw that with Hoobie Dooby Doo. So this team's both. This team can score and they go after it on defense.
Yeah, they're tough, man. They don't. It's Tom Petty time, and we won't back down. All right, so we have all that to look forward to. We don't have any more basketball to look forward to here in town. There is an issue with Bally Sports being taken down, no longer available.
Scott was bringing it up. I guess it's not, but it's not on the radio either. Like, are the Marlins aren't on the radio? Like, he was saying he wasn't on 940 either.
That I have no idea why there would be a connection. No, I can't imagine that wouldn't be on the radio. What would prohibit that? Just because Comcast wasn't carrying the games on TV? That makes zero sense. Because I'm getting the games. I don't have Comcast. I have some other system.
Yeah.
So, whatever it is, I mean, I didn't lose Bally Sports, but I mean, for the people that did, what a shame. That the thing is, though, you're only missing the Marlin games. Because the second round of the postseason, I don't believe the local outlet has a chance to air.
No.
The second round. I think after the first round, that both in the situation of the NBA and the NHL, the local station that carries them during the season isn't allowed to carry them anymore.
Yeah, it goes national. The Panthers has nothing to do with Bally's. It's they go national. They are actually, hockey's back to being on ESPN and TNT.
I like the hockey crew that they have on TBS, believe it or not. I like that guy Biz, even though a lot of people probably think he's an asshole. What's his last name? Bizanetti or something like that?
Who the hell you're talking about?
He makes the show entertaining, though. He really does. Those between period episodes and pregame and postgame. I thought the guy really put a lot of life into that and made it kind of, a lot more fun than to hear people all of a sudden seriously talking about hockey when nobody takes it seriously all year until now, where even we
just did like 30 minutes on
Lubie are experts. We couldn't tell you what town Tarasenko's from, but nonetheless, we're experts on the whole fucking thing. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Wicked Cheesesteaks. Come on by. I mean, you really want to try these sandwiches. They're fantastic. And then the innovation that Brian has. Plus, he's always experimenting with stuff that's always good, right?
I just what's great about Brian is that, hey, look, we do go to some really interesting places, and Brian.
We have great
cheesesteak. I'm like, Brian, and we love everywhere we go. And you said this the other day, high, low, whatever level. I'm like, Brian, you fit right in. You are literally just as creative as any of these places. Your ingredients are just as quality, and the flavors are fantastic. What you do here with your shop is just as fantastic as Gilbert's, as Casa D'Angelo. It's different levels, different venues, but I leave Wicked every time going, wow. I've never left her once not saying wow.
I'm always hoping to carry something out of there, Lubie. Figure, hey, I'll have this chicken Philly to nibble on for the next 3 days. It'll be great. And that's the way I like to eat stuff now. You get something and, you're picking on it for the next 3-4 days, right? Did you finish those mashed potatoes? But no, it's terrific. So we'll be out there. It's just south of Commercial Boulevard on the east side of Federal Highway. It's a little hard to find.
No, it's easy to find. It's hard to get into.
It's easy to find, but I mean, you blow by the building and then the sign's there, so you have to pull right into that parking lot. And you're at Wicked Cheesesteaks, which really, I mean, there are a bunch. I mean, we are infiltrated with a ton of cheesesteak places, and lately, for some reason, Lubie, Gurggles made it on there right in time to sign off.
After the show, I see him.
We'll play the trivia challenge. Yeah.
can bring
But
them up.
no, they do a great job, and there are a lot of other options there. So I really enjoy it. Gurggles, how are you, my man?
Doing fine. Just had the IT guy here. Quan helped me set everything up. The computer wasn't working all throughout the places here. So.
Oh yeah, well you look great.
I had some great Derby questions too. But
so wait, did you talk to Paulie? You understand? You and Paulie Man have the same horse. So do you guys on your own both?
You both like just a touch.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what. If the weather looks as bad as it is, as predicted, there's a couple mud horses. I would take a look at a horse called Mystic Dan with Brian Hernandez on it. He'll be a big price.
For our friend Dan the Man, Deal Volkswagen.
Floppy, I'd look at him. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I saw 70% Friday and 80%.
It's ugly there when it rains, you know? I mean, it changes everything. It was beautiful there yesterday. I was watching some races from Churchill. I mean, you would have only hoped that would be the weather that they had there on Saturday for the Kentucky Derby. But when it's rainy and shitty out, I've been at Churchill Downs under those circumstances when attending derbies in the past. On both Derby Day and some of the previous days. It blows, man.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, you're the king of the 10-cent superfectas. Do you have a superfecta box you're putting in tomorrow?
Well, here's what I got. I mean, I don't have strong opinions on this. We were talking about this. Do you have the balls? Is always a question you have to ask yourself. When there are two choices like Sierra Leone and Fierceness that seem to be, just heavily favored over the rest of the field. One's 5-2, one's 3-1. The next closest choice is 8-1 in the morning line in a 20-horse field, and almost everything else after that, besides Just a Touch, is 20-1 or more. Just a Touch, 10-1 morning line. But I'm going to go with my traditional partnership with Piscataway Ray. And he's speaking in tongues. I have no idea where he's coming from on this, but we always make a 5-horse trifecta box for $1 for $60 of the 200 total that we're putting up. And we've had great success with that. We've hit that, I think, 3 times in the last 7 or 8 years. And the one time for 11,000, was definitely enough to put us ahead for a significant period of time. We'll go to our grave without spending that money on trifecta boxes. But do you have the balls to leave both favorites out? You suggested that you use them in your 4-horse box. Can you leave both? Is it possible that neither Sierra Leone or Fierceness hits the board in the trifecta?
Well, I would think, first of all, Sierra Leone's got to get through traffic. But with Fierceness, he seems to be a really good race and then a clunker.
Yes.
But I mean, if I would leave anybody out, I'd leave Fierceness out only because as of yesterday, I think he was 4-5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you, when your 2 20-1 shots run 1-2 and the trifecta comes back $9,000? No, it wouldn't be. I mean, but say it comes back like $4 or $5,000 with Fierceness third. Do you then will an empty chamber with a revolver that you have by the bed? Because I mean, just as frustrating as being beaten by the favorite is being beaten by the favorite in the third position of a trifecta where you left them out.
Right. No, that's a valid point. But another key thing that we won't have any more chance to do, Miguel Vasquez traveling to Tampa. He went up there yesterday for 4 races and won 3 of them, including a $27 horse.
Wow. And were you on top of that, Gurgs?
Well, that keyed a pick 4 that paid $800, but sadly, the race before that started the pick 5, he won as well, and that paid $2,700.
Oh man!
I had to pick 4, so I'm not complaining.
Hey, you're making money, Gurgs. Every time we talk to you, you're making money. All right, we're going to wish you all the best, Gurgs. Sorry we weren't able to connect for the trivia challenge today, but Lubie with his impossible schedule, well, we have to run, and
understandable completely.
We appreciate you coming on.
Congratulations to your nephew, Mike, winning the baseball.
He actually won that championship.
He won the title? Wow, and you were there?
Yeah.
I saw it. Gurgs
the Chronics won at Landlubbers, unfortunately.
Yeah, you weren't able to somehow work your way around that. Okay.
No, I couldn't.
All right, Gurggles, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks.
See you guys.
Appreciate it. Dave Gurggles Gergely, ladies and gentlemen, a cameo at the end of the show. That's the time to come on a show, right at the end. All right, we're a little loopy. We'll see you at 1 o'clock at Wicked Cheesesteaks. And then tomorrow we'll have all kinds of stuff. Once again, people are asking me about this other venture of ours. It's been going almost, getting close to a year now. When did we start that? August of last year?
I think it was August, yeah.
Okay, so it seems like it's been longer because we've been monitoring the success of this thing, and it's been going well.
It's going well.
And all you do is Google Caffeine TV Morning Briefing. That's all you have to do. Say that into your verbal Google situation.
Yeah, it's easy.
And any number of shows will pop up. So we've been having a lot of fun with that. You can catch that there. And then I don't know where this other show I'm on is on, Lubie, at 10 o'clock. I couldn't tell you. I swear to God.
I have no comment.
I keep asking the guy, and he gives me some Spanish station in Orlando that we're broadcasting on.
Yeah, you on a radio? Because it's on Twitter, but again,
Yeah.
I don't even know how to promote that for people to watch.
I have no idea how to tell people. I was about to send out an advertising proposal, and I'm thinking, where do I tell people this airs?
It's on Twitter when it's live. I don't know how you watch it later.
I have a meeting with a guy tomorrow that hopefully can clarify this for me.
Yeah, good luck.
But, we'll
but
see.
I also see call like numbers, so I'm like,
You can call into the show. We took a call in the show.
oh, but I'm saying like not like 95.3. I'm like, so is it on a radio station somewhere? I'm like, what radio station is it?
I believe
on?
it is.
Why are
Yeah,
they promoting that. I'm like,
I don't know.
is this radio station?
The guy that I'm working with is this guy Angel, who you know a little bit. I mean, he was sort of on the periphery of the Tony Bruno Sports Network, at least with regards to our shows.
Yeah.
And but he was more of a big fan of what we were doing. Yeah, he keeps telling me, "Oh yeah, it's here, it's there, it's there, it's there, it's there," and I have no idea what he's saying. And then he's got this deal working where he's going to be the Hispanic voice of the Orlando Predators.
Really? Oh,
of the Arena Football League.
Arena? I thought the Arena League still exists.
It came back, but it's under some fugazi circumstances. Jim Sarney ought to look into this. This is his kind of story, where the Predators did not play the opening week, and now they're hosting a team from West Texas, like the West Texas Mud Hens or something, and they don't know if they're actually going to show up. So they have a game scheduled for Saturday with a bunch of festivities associated with Cinco de Mayo, and they don't know if the opponent's coming to town.
This sounds like the Stars Football League.
Doesn't it? No, I mean, it's maybe
flashbacks to the
maybe
guy
one step ahead of the Stars, and yet it's below anything we've seen from the USFL or the XFL or any of these other fledgling leagues. Where I mean, it's interesting because he's having meeting after meeting. In fact, they had to blow off the show today, which is sort of okay with me. But it all was a contingent on this Predators game that he's going to call in Spanish for the first time ever. They're having this. Is there a huge or large enough Hispanic population in Orlando for these games to have any impact in another language?
Orlando has a very strong. I know there's a strong Puerto Rican presence there, but I didn't know that it was. Look, I know the Arena League years ago. The Predators were sort of a big deal.
Orlando was a very successful franchise at one time.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. It's like the Pentangeli testimony.
I'm not trying to judge him. I don't know what to do with any of that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's occupying a lot of this kid's time. So I'll try and get a clarification on what's happening with that, and get that out there to you guys next week. All right, Lubie, always a pleasure. See you at Wicked, and thanks so much for everything you do here on the show.
Yes,
for Mike Lubie Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9/11.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.